Live from our studios in the nation's capital, your most reliable source for news, national, regional, and the rest of the world. Welcome to Kairi FM's Major News. Here's your presenter.
Dr. Vince Henderson's candidacy being challenged ahead of Thursday's by-elections. Government unfolds plans to build a new cruise ship berth. In Guyana, Johnson & Johnson booster shot possibly opens U.S. travel for Sputnik 5 recipients. And Ethiopia's Prime Minister vows to lead army from the battlefront. The details of these and other stories in a moment.
Are you looking for good eggs? I mean quality fresh eggs straight from the farm? Well, we have exactly what you're looking for, no matter the quantity. We've got the right amount. Visit us at Prince City downstairs Kairi FM on Independence Street for your fresh farm eggs, or call telephone 448-7331, 448-7330 or 448-8752 and we'll get you your fresh farm eggs.
I'm not exaggerating. Boiling with excitement.
This Christmas, unlock a new digital world with 45% off a new DL3 Plus Pro smartphone from Digicel. Get it now when you buy a 30-day 25GB Prime Jumbo bundle to enjoy all your favorite Digicel apps. The best smartphone with the best apps. Enjoy a 6.2-inch screen to watch more Christmas classics in Playgo. Dual 5-megapixel camera to capture more Christmas moments, and then store it all in Billo. From blockbuster movies and chop-topping music to streaming live sports, video chats, and so much more. Get yourself a DL3 Plus Pro for $200 or gift it to someone you love. Visit a Digicel store today.
Welcome back and welcome to listeners on Variety Radio in Antigua, Barbuda, and Flow TV channel 119 St. Lucia. A group of people questioning the legality of Dr. Vince Henderson as a candidate for Grand-based by-election has staged a protest outside of the electoral office today. Those concerned have written a letter addressed to the chairman of the Electoral Commission seeking clarity on Henderson's candidacy. Atherton Matte says he wrote a letter with evidence regarding Henderson's eligibility and delivered it to the Chief Elections Officer Monday. He says it was signed by 4 other people. Among the protesters' concern is whether Dr. Henderson, the Labour Party candidate, has resigned his position as the country's ambassador to the United States and permanent representative to the OAS.
Anyone who is still in the employ of the state and in receipt of emoluments, salaries, travel, hotel, per diems, and any other forms of emoluments, such a person is ineligible. Such a person cannot, under Dominica's electoral laws, contest any election, any public election, for public office. It appears, therefore, and this is our concern, it appears that the person we know as Ambassador Henderson is still Ambassador Henderson, still in the employ of the state of Dominica, and still in receipt of emoluments under that arrangement, under that contract with the state, and as a result of that, cannot be an eligible candidate for election, whether it be local elections, national elections, or as in this case, a by-election.
Atherton Matte, one of the leaders of the protests. The protesters demand a response from the Electoral Commission by midday. Following speeches on a public address system, they made their way into the city.
Well, we are there for an answer for the electoral office for the Granby candidate that's going up, that we want them to come clean. And well, we are there for an answer for the electoral office for the Granby candidate that's going up, that we want them to come clean. And we hear that I have evidence of Vince is still ambassador and still to the OAS. So we are there to get answers.
We're asking the election commission to review all three, not one, not only this, all three candidates, review them to make sure there is no illegality for the by-election by law. That's the constitution, right? So that is why we are here today, and we have wrote them a few letters and no answer. So we wrote them another letter yesterday and asking them to give us response today at 12.
So it's not a Granburian issue, it's a Dominica issue, brother. It is for we all Dominicans to come out and take a serious stand about the illegality, because we cannot keep the constitution being breached and broken and break like this. And that's why I advise all Dominicans to learn the constitution of Dominica, so you don't see that this guy is taking a stand and tell yourself, what stand they're taking is trouble they're looking. It's not trouble we're looking for, my people. The constitution, as I say, is giving us our right to take this stand for the better good of the country.
Those were voices of three protesters outside of the electoral office today. Dr. Henderson has made it clear that he had not renewed his contract as the country's ambassador to the U.S. and permanent representative to the OAS. This is what he told Kairi News when asked about the issue lately.
I have not been in receipt of a salary from the Dominican Treasury as ambassador to the United States and permanent representative to the OAS since February of 2019. I decided not to renew my contract. I came to Dominica to serve as the DLP campaign manager, and I felt it was not proper to remain in that position. Well, it's more than that. I had decided that I wanted to go into my own private consultancy, and therefore I felt I wanted to stop receiving a salary from the Treasury of Dominica, so that I could offer my services even to the government of Dominica, as I have done in the area of geothermal energy development as a consultant.
In related news, Chief Elections Officer Ian Michael Anthony has confirmed that he has passed on a letter given to him by Atherton Martyr for his chairman. Anthony, however, told Kairi News he was not paying attention to the grievances expressed by the protesters outside his office.
What I would say is that yes, a letter was delivered to me and that has been passed on. Outside of that, well, I didn't even hear anything as I went on. I guess I was so busy with work anyway. But yes, a letter was delivered to me to be delivered to the chairman, and that was done. I just did what I promised that Mr. Mata would have done, and that would have been to ensure that the chairman got the letter. First of all, as I just said a while ago, I don't know what went on because I have been occupied otherwise in the office in terms of putting the final touches for Thursday. So I cannot really comment in terms of what went on from that point.
Chief Elections Officer Ian Michael Anthony. Anthony says arrangements for Thursday's by-election in Granby remain as planned. The government of Dominica and the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, have partnered with a healthcare technology firm to create solutions in the ongoing fight against COVID-19. The company, Open Solutions for Health, was founded in 2019 by Peter Ricketts, its chief executive officer, and Mahalis Alcender, the chief financial officer. Ricketts and Alcender combined have decades of experience in the creation of medical data solutions for key stakeholders requiring accurate health informatics and in an effort to support decision-making. Ricketts says the company will continue to adopt innovative ways to support the health sector.
My dad, the late Ambassador at Large and National Epidemiologist, His Excellency Dr. Paul Ricketts, shared two things with me. The first was his vision where, and I quote, quality data should be accessible by those who need it, where they need it, when they need it, and how they need it in a sustainable manner. The second was that he believed that once given the right work environment, persons could achieve maximum work efficiency. Now, it was this vision and core principle that formed the bedrock on which Open Solutions for Health was founded. It was founded with a mission to provide cost-effective, interoperable turnkey solutions within the health sector both locally and regionally, while simultaneously creating an environment where our young minds can develop and be empowered to support these solutions.
In April 2020, Open Solutions for Health created a COVID-19 case management information system at no cost to the government of Dominica to support the healthcare team in effectively and efficiently tracking and managing local COVID-19 cases. The company also installed a COVID-19 hotelier e-surveillance solution. It enabled hoteliers to input the risk assessment information of each guest and alert the Ministry of Health team if signs or symptoms were recorded while protecting the identity of the hotel guests.
In this month, November, we launched our National Health Worker Registry for Nurses for the Dominican Nursing Council. And currently, we are working on the National Electronic Immunization Registry, which is scheduled to be launched in December of this year, as well as our electronic medical record solution for private physicians, which is also scheduled to be launched in December of this year. Now, for each of these solutions that we have created, creating, and will create, we provide continuous support locally for all of these solutions to ensure that they can be sustained in the long term. So we don't just build a solution, deploy it, and forget about it. We stick around and we provide all the support necessary to ensure that it is implemented successfully and that it can be supported and sustained over the long term.
Chief Executive Officer of Open Solutions for Health, Peter Ricketts. Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit says plans are afoot for the redevelopment of the Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard on the bayfront in Roseau with the construction of a proper cruise ship terminal. Mr. Skerrit says even if government was to build a new cruise ship village, it appears from interactions with the cruise lines, the visitors say they have fallen in love with the current berth because of its ambience and uniqueness. He says visitors report that the Roseau cruise ship berth leads them directly to the capital and that creates excitement for them.
We'll be constructing the proper ferry, a proper cruise terminal to receive the guests. We'll also be demolishing the existing ferry terminal and reconstruct a brand new one, maybe with three floors, with opportunities for local shops to be on the top floor so that people can sell stuff not only to the cruise people but to the ferry people. And the plan also is to relocate Dexter. We don't think that it is of any economic benefit to the country to have this exceptional real estate and expensive real estate just to store rice and sugar, and maybe some fertilizer. So the intention is to relocate that storage facility for Dexter and to build a sort of a mini mall structure there.
Okay.
And to have a built for purpose movie theater, opportunities for restaurants, opportunities for local shops.
Mr. Skerrit says only locally manufactured products will be sold on the ground floor of that building. This will be in an effort to better attract tourists to the island's natural products and resources.
Only things that are manufactured in Dominica will be sold on the ground floor. Because there's so many enterprising efforts in this country. There's so many people using our primary product or raw material and adding value to it, and turning it into secondary and tertiary products. And I think we need to give them an opportunity where they can showcase their product, because one of the challenges they have, a lot of them operate from out of their homes or a small structure of their homes, and they would like to have a shop. They would like to have a small place where they could pile their trade. And so on that ground floor, we'll only allow for Dominican products to be sold there. And of course, we are finalizing the drawings for the new library, for the new library, and we'll share those designs very soon with the general public so that people can give us their feedback.
Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit speaking with host of Kairi's Hang, Daryl Titz. In other news this evening, the Dominica Calypso Association is inviting Calypsonians to register for the 2022 National Calypso season. Public Relations Officer of the DCA, Daryl Bob, says registration opens on Wednesday, November 23rd. That's 24th.
The Dominica Calypso Association announces the opening of registration for the 2022 Calypso competition. All Calypsonians are hereby advised to register at the offices of Arturo Sport in the Prevost Cinemal from Wednesday 24th November 2021 between the hours of 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. Monday to Friday. All participating Calypsonians are obligated to register and in doing so are cautioned to observe all COVID protocols. The Dominica Calypso Association wishes all its members and the general public a hearty Yuletide season and are reminded to remain protected.
Executive Director of the Dominica Employment Federation, Achille Joseph, says businesses should possibly consider paying for output rather than time in work-from-home situations. Mr. Joseph observed that while employees work from home, it is not possible for employers to supervise and monitor if they are being productive.
The employer is responsible for the safety of his employees while in the course of employment. He is to present a safe working environment, safe methods of work, and competent fellow employees. Now, if you relocate the place of work now to the home, it means by extension, the home now becomes the place of work. And the employer now has to create that favorable environment in somebody's home. So that's a challenge, obviously. It presents a challenge for a supervision, quality assurance. You can't have a supervisor going from everybody's home to see they're doing their work. If it's 8 hours they're spending on the job for a day. So it presents an opportunity now for employers to shift from maybe paid for time to paid for output, paid for quality.
Mr. Joseph says the COVID-19 climate could result in employers having to explore paying for quality of work done when their staff is working from home.
So probably coming out of COVID, we're going to see a little more manifestation of that an employee may be given a chunk of work and certain design qualities, and if he performs to the expectation, he is paid. Because COVID is now kicking in those issues there, and there are legal parameters, some of them that move and some do not move.
And that was Executive Director of the Dominica Employers Federation, Achille Joseph. Moving on to news from the region. Guyana residents have received the Russian-produced Sputnik V COVID-19 vaccine and are interested in traveling to the United States could find themselves in conflict with that country's policy if not admitting to international travelers without vaccines approved by their recognized health regulators. Specifically, while the Sputnik V COVID-19 vaccine has been administered in Guyana, the vaccine has not yet received emergency use authorization from neither the World Health Organization nor the U.S.-based Food and Drug Administration. There might be a possibility, however, for Sputnik V recipients in Guyana to travel to the U.S. because a new intervention implemented by Guyana's health authorities, which allows for Sputnik V vaccine recipients to have the produced Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. Meantime, Guyana's Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony has been discussing the strategy for COVID-19 booster shots over the last few weeks. On Monday, he outlined how Guyana will administer booster shots. The Guyana Health Minister said for persons to be eligible to receive the booster shots, they must fall within one of 3 categories established by the health authorities. Ethiopia's Nobel Peace Prize-winning Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has said he will lead his country's army from the battlefront starting on Tuesday, a dramatic new step as the year-long conflict moves closer to the capital, Addis Ababa. That's Addis Ababa. Tens of thousands of people are estimated to have been linked and hundreds of thousands are pushed into the farming conditions since November last year, when the Prime Minister ordered a military offensive against the Tigray People's Liberation Front, the TPLF, which dominated the central government for decades before Abiy took office in 2018. He said the move was in response to attacks on federal army bases, but the TPFL said it was unfairly targeted. In the space of a year, Abiy's government has gone from describing the Tigray conflicts as a law enforcement operation to an extension war. That should have been an extensional war. You've just heard the news locally, regionally, and internationally. Do join us tomorrow morning at 6:30 for the first newscast of the day. On behalf of the entire news and production team and our sponsors, thank you for listening.